You know, if you told me that one episode into this that I would have to watch an anime, which is a slice of life about girls pissing their pants, I probably would have reconsidered this.
Sorry, Ivy, it's too late now, bro.
I'm already committed. One in, one. That's just like a commitment for life.
Oh, God. Hi, guys. Welcome yet again to Anime Roulette podcast, where we roll a random generator and are forced to watch whatever we roll. And oh, God.
As you may have realized from the last episode and our reactions to what we rolled, it wasn't a great first impression. And let me tell you, our first impressions were too kind.
Yep, they were. Well, look, we'll get into that. But yes, the anime we are discussing today is Fight Ippatsu Juden Chan. And before anyone makes the gag, the Juden Chan part is not a Holocaust joke. We want to put that right out the gate. We are not making any Holocaust jokes in reference to that. Everyone, at the same time, when I mentioned the title, said the same thing. And no, it is not. So we're just going to clear that. Right, there will be no Holocaust jokes on this stream.
For recharger girls. So the reason that they use the term Juden Chan is because that's what they yell when they smack their big old plugs into people's backs.
That's right. They are plugging holes. One job at a time.
Plugging holes and opening more.
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like this week it's definitely not as important for us to do an episode by episode playthrough because 90% of the plot here is just meaningless.
What plot? There isn't one. Like,
yeah,
like
exactly.
it doesn't.
Exactly.
It doesn't have a plot
like
until like the last 5 episodes. It doesn't even have a plot at all.
There's a grand total of maybe 4 or 5 episodes out of the whole season which actually have a concentrated plot.
So like 60% of this show is complete slice of life filler. Like it is.
Okay, so the general conception here is the Recharger Girls are an organization from another universe who come through to Earth and they make sure to go around, and when they see people who are having emotional crises, they use electricity to charge them back up and make them feel better.
Yeah, so electroshock therapy without the person's consent. Yeah, from a parallel world, no less. I'm going to commit statutory electroshock rape in another world. The next isekai.
I am going to do interdimensional physical violations of your rights as a human being. Great. Genius. Also, just off the top here, who is paying them to do this? They keep referring to like making money from this.
I know, right? I couldn't
figure out how they were making money.
Okay, so the way I sort of got the interpretation was that it's sort of like an energy feedback loop where essentially they charge them up and the reverberating positive vibes that they give off after being charged are harvested and converted into energy, I think. Because that's why the big bad at the end is so evil, because she's harvesting negative energy, right? So they're harvesting positive energy. So when they charge someone up using the local electricity grid, because they're not even using their own electricity. Like there is going to be some guy at ETSA, which is what our power company here is called down here in my part of Australia, but there's gonna be some guy at ETSA or like US Power or Origin Energy or whoever, you know, they're gonna be sitting at their desk and they're gonna see like after there's like a tragic landslide incident or something where a school bus with kids got killed or something like that, you know, something bad's gonna happen in the community, and all of a sudden some homie's gonna look at his power bill and be like, what the fuck? These chicks are just hooking into the power grid and just stabbing people and then shocking them, right? And I'm like, okay. But yeah, so they make money off of this by harvesting the positive energy from the people they jab with the electric current. and they use the local power grid. So they're not actually expending... The only energy they're expending is the equipment and the labor of the girls themselves. And as you could probably guess by my avatar and by my friend here's anarchist nature, you know how we feel about labor disputes in this podcast. But anyway... Long story short,
yeah, they keep taking away Plug's money, and I'm
they keep,
you can't do that.
Like, yeah, fair.
Unionize,
right? Yeah,
unionize.
Unionize the magical girls. Like, magical girl unions should be a thing. But in all seriousness, like, Plug, as someone who works and has worked in the call center industry, one of the biggest things we had and still do is what's called FCR, first call resolution, and it's established quite early on that Plug literally has a 100% first call resolution. So even though she only charges like 20 to 30% the number of people that the rest of her squad charges, she has no repeat offenders. There are no people who get depressed again after she charges them, right? Which means...
Which is the result of her interactions with the human Cento, which I find it kind of funny that, like, like, it's obviously established that, like, she does really want to help people, and that's fine, and that's a good thing, you know. But, like, I felt it really funny because the entire reason she figures out the healing the humans at the right time thing, both regards came down to Cento. Like, Cento was the one who said you can't just, like, zap humans and make them feel better. Like, it won't address the core problem at hand, which led her to her initial discovery that she should wait till the person is, like, in a playable situation to do so, right?
Yeah.
And then later on, it's when she loses the use of her hands, she and Cento figure out that they can just bait someone into having good feelings for a moment and then plug them in. Which admittedly led to some decently funny gags of, like, people getting... No, I take that back. There was a lot of sexual assault happening.
Yeah, like one of the ways she got one of the guys out of his depressive funk was literally doing upskirt sexual assault on a girl. Like, literally lifts up her skirt in front of the guy. And then the moment he's like, oh, panties, she just jabs him with the fucking... with the power charger and just sends it.
Okay, so let's introduce our characters. So our main cast is a trio, always works quite well. So we have Plug, the main character who Pete quite likes.
I do like Plug. I have a... I think it may be my shonen brain activating, and even though I'm not the biggest shonen fan, it's like my little shonen monkey brain activating. I see plucky underdog who's in this because she loves it and she wants to do the right thing, rather than, you know, Aresta, who's like, you know, the other character who's like stone cold bitch professional, like, I gotta be the best. Plug's just happy to be here, man. She's just happy to be here, and yeah, she's struggling to make ends meet, but she is proud of her work and what she does, and I can respect that. I like Plug quite a lot. She's a fun, good protagonist. She can also be a right piece of shit sometimes, though, which is kind of hilarious. It leads to some of the actual good comedy in the show.
Then we have Aresta / Alesta. I've seen it written both ways. For the purpose of this, I'll be going with Aresta just because I didn't...
Well, the thing is, I worked it out a bit too late, actually, which really, really irritates me, is all of their names are a pun on electricity.
Yeah.
So Plug is Plug Cryostat. Aresta is Aresta Blanket.
Aresta Blanket, which I really like. I think that's a really clever. Pulse Trans, who's their boss.
Kuran Shunt, which I think is funny.
Reika Galvini.
Galvanize.
Yep. Rinko, Marco, Taco, Chico, and Soko. Wow, they really tried hard with those names.
Yeah, they're all scientists. They're all scientists and engineers who came up with various revelations in electricity. So Farad, Faraday cage, Weber, magnetic flux, Tesla. Well, obviously,
and Ohm.
Yeah, the unit of electrical resistance. You know, like man, it's amazing. My freaking like the small bits of engineering I've done in my life have helped me understand the jokes in this show. So that works, I guess.
Arresta is. This brings us, yes, to Arresta. Arresta is the, I guess, she's like the senpai character to Plug. She's like the hyper capable character. She does everything right, except obviously as the show goes on, we find out that her method isn't necessarily the best way, because she just sort of jabs people and gets like high resurgence rates. And this brings us to the last member of the trio, Sento-kun, who is a human who works at a part-time in a cafe for a lolicon lady.
Yeah.
Who I found very uncomfortable.
She doesn't even have a name. Her name is literally Boss.
She doesn't have a name. She's never given a name.
She's literally known as Boss. She has, like, throwaway love interest who is really, like, what was that? Iono? Like, the pigtailed girl.
Iono is the pigtailed girl who they couldn't really seem to make up their mind about what personality they wanted to give her.
But seriously, okay, she was my most disliked character in the show. And the reason is she didn't need to be there. Like, honestly, like, and you could say that about this whole show, sure, but, like, she didn't need to be there. Like, why? She's the best friend of his little sister, Hakone, and, like, okay, she has a crush on Sento. Great. This is some great, and then she flip-flops, she doesn't make up her mind, and she has one episode about her, and then she doesn't matter for the rest of the show. Hakone matters to an extent, and the boss manages to exist and be contributing to an extent, which actually leads to ironically enough, the beach episode is actually quite good, but we'll get to that. Like, but this chick just doesn't matter. She just does not matter. She like the side character, the other squad mates who I actually really liked from Plug's organization in Division 2 of her squad. Like the rest of her squad, because Arresta isn't in her squad originally. The rest of her squad, which has like 4 appearances in the whole anime, were more memorable and enjoyable than Iona was. Like,
yep.
And like, yeah, that's just my rant. That's my only rant about characters, really, other than the best characters. But we'll save that to the end of the character section, because I think Ivi knows what.
Yes.
V knows what I'm going to talk about.
We've got a generic little sister called Hakone. She only shows up a little bit. She's not really relevant. She just sort of pulls Sento out of his funk a little bit later. And I did denote that she is tiny, and yet in episode 1, Sento struggles to lift her up, despite the fact that she is tiny and he is huge. Yeah, that's about it for those characters. If you want to introduce your favorite characters.
So there is a running gag in this show that Plug is an otaku. She is a big nerd. She is completely dysfunctional in terms of, you know, nerd culture, says the guy with a weird historical anime girl collection on the shelf behind him. But she really likes what is, quite frankly, a well, I'm gonna have to censor the original discussion of the R word earlier in this podcast anyway, so I'm gonna modify myself here. There is a cultured anime for men of culture, if you get my meaning, ladies and gentlemen, that airs on the TV in the background. It's what this show should have been, right? Quite frankly, it is a cultured anime, and Plug is a really big fan of this cultured anime, as it is portrayed as a magical girl show in this universe. That's really, really popular, but it's also really, really rare because they only made 1 season of it, and I can see why they only made 1 season of this cultured anime, because there is a lot of culture that happens in it. It's called Magical Girl Millie. Alright? And she has basically, if it wasn't for the fact of when this anime came out, because it was beforehand, basically imagine Madoka Magica if it was crossed with High School DxD. is basically...
And pornography.
I was going to keep saying cultured anime, but you just had to come out and say it, didn't you? Like, we got squid tentacles, we've got, you know, whips. We've got literal cross crucifixion, like, you know, the X crucifixion, like having her clothes torn off. We've got bondage. We've got, like, dude, they were going through every single fetish.
And we should also emphasize that for the first half of the show, Pac was watching
censored. I was watching the Crunchyroll version. So
whereas I watched the uncensored version, which probably increased my anger towards the show.
But even so, like, I could tell, because they didn't edit it out completely, they just blurred bits out. I could tell that the uncut version of this anime would be like, why? Like, all I'm going to say is that maybe this is too much information with all the female characters in this show. Even the ones that will get you taken away by every alphabet soup agency known to man. All I'm gonna saying, there was more camel toes here than Saudi Arabia, right? Like, I'm like, to an uncomfortable degree. To an uncomfortable degree.
So much nudity in this show. Like,
and if it wasn't actual nudity, it was implied nudity through their suits. Their suits are just so...
And, like, in the uncensored version, you can just straight up see their nipples at pretty much any point that they're in their skin-tight suits.
Both the erogenous areas of upstairs and downstairs are on full display through the latex suits they wear.
This shit is downright outrageous. Like, it is insane how much nudity there is. There's literally, like, times I've noted that there is so many breasts on display that I've just completely ceased to note it. And this is going to be one of my points in the negative for this show, because obviously I generally am of the opinion that, like, you know, too much fan service, if you want to have a little bit here sprinkled around, that's fine. If you start going all in, you're just make porn.
Yeah, the art of ecchi is to make people excited for the erogenous and fan service bits. not drown us in
dead-eyed,
right? Like,
dead-eyed whenever, like,
this shit makes High School DxD look tame.
Yeah.
It really does.
And, like, it's also the fact that, like, okay, let's take episode 6, which was the episode that actually had plot.
Yeah.
So in this episode, they introduced this kid. So, cold opening, there is no fan service throughout the majority of this episode. It is very light on fan service. And we get introduced to this kid who has a history of, like, bullying, but he's moved past it. He's got friends now, and he's but he's had an emotional crash, perceiving, you know, he thinks that his new friends don't like him. You know, typical, like, bullying after effects of bullying. And when charges try to charge him, it causes their fucking hands to explode.
Yeah, so, like, they sort of get emotional reflux. Like, when they try to charge him up, he bounces back
and does shitloads of damage to them. Now, Plug latches onto this kid from, like, the start of the episode, and they do a pretty good job of establishing this, that she's very, like, fixated on him. And so she really goes, like, out of her way to help the kid. And at the end of the episode, Plug, in an experimental suit, plugs herself into him and starts to charge him, despite the fact that the suit is clearly
disintegrating.
Yeah, the suit is explicitly stated to not work like the way it's supposed to. And Aresta warns her of this, but she still does it anyway. And there's this quite sort of heartfelt moment where she's, like, just charging and charging and charging, and she's, like, her suit is, like, ripping to pieces. She's, like, her hands are, like, on fire, all of this shit, right? And then she collapses, and the other Charger girls are there to save her, you know. And it's a quite good moment. Do you know what ruins this fucking moment? Her tits are out. They just, like... Do you know what this very heartfelt moment needs? Plug's unconscious tits out.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I didn't really notice it there, but I think it might be just because of I was watching the censored episode on this one, but I don't think it was because it was a very revealing outfit. Maybe I'm just dead inside from the amount of fan service that I've seen, but really, this was the episode which made me confused about this show, and that's what I actually really want to talk about with this show because we've been bagging on it for the past 20 minutes now. And yeah, let's just do a quick fire round. There is a panty shot at every opportunity for a panty shot. There is a titty jiggle to the extent where the tits have sound effects. Okay, they boing
all the time.
Every time a well-endowed character moves, they boing. Okay.
Yep.
It is gratuitous. It is, as I said, it's more smut-filled than High School DxD. In fact, we were saying the other night? The only anime which has more fan service than this that is not actually a hentai is
Shinmai Mano Testament.
Which is basically a hentai. So,
and that one, just straight up and near the end of the series just becomes hentai. So,
as I said, we are talking as I said, you have to basically go that or interspecies reviewers or redo of a healer to get where we are. Right, those are the only 3 anime I can think of, which are definitely anime quotation marks. Although let's be honest, Redo of a Healer is, if you watch the uncensored version, Redo of a Healer is a hentai. So we'll sort of gloss past that. So interspecies reviewers, I think, is literally the line. I think we've all established that is the line. This, you have to basically go to interspecies reviewers to get closer to hentai than this show, right?
Yeah.
For all of that, what confuses me about this show is that there were moments when I was watching it where I genuinely cared. And that's something that I wanted to sort of say right out here in the middle of the episode, because I liked Plug and I liked Arresta and I liked the concept. It was silly, but it was adorable, and it was a good if this had just been a slice of life anime, a slice of life sitcom anime, a la Dragon Maid, with a little bit of fan service thrown in, this would have been actually good, I think. Yeah, I wouldn't binge it. I wouldn't give it the same ratings as other anime, or actually Dragon Maid, because Dragon Maid's actually good. But you know what I mean? I would say that this was a perfectly good show. But the fan service just kills it. And at the same time, because I think the biggest problem is they make compromises to the story for the fan service.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem I have.
There's definitely moments, and episode 6 is about as good as the show gets. I think episode 6 is probably my favorite part of the show.
I enjoyed episode 7, which is the episode after episode 6 where Plug is going through rehab and she gets arrested and dressed up as a maid.
I liked the moment in episode 7 where it revealed near the end about Plug's hands, and I felt like that would be more... I guess I felt like it would be a recurring thing going forwards, that her hands would be she'd be in regular pain or something. It felt like they were setting that up, and episode 8 then dealt with the hands a little bit, but that was the end of it pretty much. After that, she was fine, back to normal.
Yeah, I did like the fact that little arc about her saving the kid and then getting back to work, and then her and Arresta building friendships and all that sort of thing. I thought that was quite good. The big one though, the big one that we've got to talk about, the one good point on the fan service front is
yes.
is when people who are actually supposed to be looted and fan serviced show up.
Adults.
The adults.
The adults.
The audit
the
squad.
Feds. I referred to them as the feds throughout my notes because I actually denoted their full name, which is Special Audit Divisions, Special Cases Sections Leakage Girls. That is too long.
That is too long.
Is too long a title. They are the feds.
They're the feds. And, they come in here with, I'm with Cento on this one. They come in here with, slick business casual suits and, high heels that, they make runway models terrified, and they'll walk in this and they just emanate.
Float.
Float. All I'm going to say is,
in.
to use the common vernacular of the youth these days, they fuck, and they know it. They absolutely know it. And I'm like, yeah. When these girls showed up, I was like, all right, this is the fan service I'm here for. I mean, I kind of, you see, the problem I had with Plug, I think Arresta was good for the same reason. Arresta and the Audit Squad were the good fan service because they were the girls who were supposed to be looted in fan service because they were adults and they were tough, they were smart, and they were self-confident, and they were, you know, yeah, these girls are about it. They know what they're about, and I'm about that. But like with Plug, they fan serviced a lot of Plug because she's the main character and she's cute and adorable and Genki and all that. But I kept seeing Plug as, like, you know, for lack of a better term, to use an obnoxious weeb phrase, she was like, I don't know, Gambate-chan, you know, I'm here to cheer her on. I'm not here to loot her, I'm here to cheer Plug on. So, like, when they keep looting her, it's like, it doesn't work. But these girls, when they showed up, oh, please loot them. Please, right? And they do, thankfully.
And they did.
And, like, with a Yuri scene right off tops. And incidentally, can we talk about that? Which is arguably the best part of the show.
We should talk about this. And yes, I would agree that this is probably one of the funnier parts of the show. Is every episode of Juden Chan opens with a piracy warning, basically saying don't pirate this, which naturally I pirated this, so fuck you, Japan. So this was directly aimed at me, and I literally wrote, calling me out about piracy, fuck you, I'm gonna steal more series now. But, like, these short, like, cold opens that are just gags around the same concept each time, that started off just mild. It was like, don't pirate. And then they just accelerated into, like, just outright Yuri fan service at times. Like, just fan service shots.
They were great. They were actually great. I found it because this wasn't actually part of the show. They were just short gags. And I think that was what really sort of actually endeared me a lot to... Because when they put the fan service sequences in the gag cutaways, they were actually great. Like the lottery machine ones where they, like, roll a lottery machine and every time they win, they get a different, like, fan service pick. But we have to talk about the main character of this show. The real main character. The best main character. We have to talk about Sento-san, but not Sento-san specifically. We have to talk about Sento-san's bat.
Yes,
his baseball bat.
Yes, this is a critically important thing for us to talk about. Now, this series feels like a gag series, and at times it definitely feels like a series I would call.
And the gags land, actually, so I will say that. Some
of the gags do land, yeah. I wouldn't say all of them, but yeah, some of them definitely do. I definitely don't like the P/cum ones, which we talk about.
Yeah,
we definitely need to put like an 18+ warning on this fucking video.
Yeah, fuck, dude. All of my videos are not made for kids, but I'll put a disclaimer at the start.
Yep. All right. So Sento-kun has a recurring gag involving a bat. At first, it starts off, you know, pretty simple. Whenever he gets startled by the girls, he smacks them with a bat, which every girl in the show likes because every girl is a pain pig.
But can we just appreciate the fact... Oh, actually, no, that's not true. Plug doesn't. Plug reacts with pain because Plug doesn't like pain.
Plug doesn't like pain necessarily, but in some of her fantasies, she is getting hit by him with a bat. So we should emphasize that she's a closeted pain pig. She's not quite to Arresta's level, but where Arresta fantasizes about it nonstop.
The thing is though, no matter where he is or what he's doing, no matter what the circumstances are, Sento always has his bat with him. Like, he is at work, on shift, sweeping the floors, right? And then one of the girls will come through the wall in their stealth infiltration field. and then all of a sudden, homie will just turn around and schwack him straight in the face with a baseball bat.
Fucking clean him up.
And the thing was, I thought that gag was gonna get old. For some reason, it was my favorite gag in the show, and it didn't stop being funny.
I definitely think the funniest moment for that particular gag was, as you would agree, when they're facing off with the audit squad during the Shaggy Dog story, and he draws his bat from nowhere. He quite literally reaches over his back as if drawing a sword and pulls out his baseball bat, which led me to ask, where the fuck was his bat? Was it in his shirt?
Nah, like, where was his bat? Ladies and gentlemen, we all know where his bat was. But no, seriously, I just love the fact that the audit squad get whacked by his bat. And then they have their fan service shot.
Into it.
Oh,
They're
they are.
Into it.
Oh, they are very into it.
And
I would actually say that episode with the audit squad, the battle against the audit squad, and for him taking the audit squad down, right? And the way they did that, I actually really enjoyed that episode. I think it's my favorite episode of the show. And I will also say the plan was clever and everything was great. And I really enjoyed it. And then the moment of realization where Sento is informed about what's happening and finds out that they're not evil fairies from a secret police organization. They're actually just their bosses, and they're doing a company audit, and they are perfectly legitimate officials doing their job. He just starts, he's like, oh my god, and he just starts apologizing. I'm sorry, I misunderstood the situation. It's like, what are you talking about? They're stuck up bitches. And he turns around, if you guys were doing your fucking job properly, they wouldn't be here. It's like, he's just like, says the guy, though, who, to assist the Charger girls, crashed his manager's car.
Into the ocean.
Into the ocean. Like, seriously, homie just drove this Nissan Micra, this bright pink Nissan Micra, just drove that motherfucker off a cliff. And the Charger girls just charge his manager up, and she's apparently fine. Oh, this car is old, I needed a new one anyway. I'm like, what do you mean you need a new... Homie just literally drove your car off a cliff for no reason. You're just fine with it.
From your perspective, yeah, he just drove a car.
He drove it off for no reason. Yeah. And, like, no one's going to believe... Like,
no one... What insurance company is going to believe that? Like, I drove the car off the cliff. There's no brakes. Why didn't you brake?
Fucking hell, man. Yeah, the Audit Squad. Great part of the show. Excellent. I like them. Yep,
definitely one of the better parts. I'd like to discuss the final arc of the show, which is basically the only consistent arc of the show, apart from the post-Kenta arc, where we meet the Discharge Girl.
And fun fact, given how this anime went, which we'll talk about, I'm really disappointed because the voice actress for the Discharger Girl, the evil villain at the end of this show, who's like a sadistic little kid, the voice actress for her also voices my favorite anime character of all time. She is the voice of Haruhi Suzumiya, which really, really depresses me. But anyway...
Because it definitely feels like she's sort of phoning it in.
Yeah, she was definitely phoning it in here. Because this... Gotta keep in mind that the anime for the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya came out 3 years before this. So she must have been desperate for work or something. I think she had a scandal where she slept with the drummer of her band, who was a married man, and that caused the whole scandal. So this is obviously after that or something, because she, a woman as talented as this, has no business being in this show. At all. At all.
Yep.
But go on, Ivy. Go.
Yeah, so the final arc basically involves this girl who's been foreshadowed throughout the show. A little girl, yes, and by little, I mean explicitly
she's a toddler.
Written as a child.
She's 5.
I cannot emphasize this enough. She is a child.
She's 5. She's like 4 or 5.
Now, you might be wondering, why is Ivy hammering this so hard? I am hammering this so hard because she is a child and they gave her a panty shot.
Whoop, whoop. It's the sound of the police. Dude, this was fucked. Okay, this is the moment where I'm like, look, you've stepped over the line. I can't
To be fair, I think they stepped over the line
No,
when
no,
they
no, no, no,
looted middle school girls at the start of the show.
Oh, come on. This is it's now 2021. Anime in anime middle school is a fair game now. I don't approve of it either, but let's be real. That ship sailed years ago. My God.
It was I'm losing.
it was a line that existed when this anime was made, but so maybe you could argue that. But let's be real here. Like these days,
Jesus.
no, it's like you just gotta like because you gotta. That's the thing. Freaking in Food Wars, people sort of forget the way because of the way they're drawn. People forget, but they're first year high schoolers. So like.
Yep.
So, shut up. They're worse than Disney. They'll sue us.
Yeah.
I used to work for them. I should know. Damn right they'll sue us.
Instead, we'll just censor what the sound I made on the audio tape.
No, I'm keeping it in because they can't sue us for that. But still, even so, if we keep it going, yeah, no. We're not going to say the company's name. If you know, you know. To all beef patties, special sauce lettuce. Yeah, you get the idea.
Oh my God! Now they know.
Now
they definitely know what we're fucking talking about.
Yes, it is the famous. It appears in every major anime, and the greatest anime, which is getting a season 2 coming soon. The Devil is a Part-Timer, the wonderful restaurant of WcDonald's. Yes. Anyway, go ahead, Ivy.
All right. Okay. So we have this discharge girl, and she is capable of snapping her fingers and making everybody in the vicinity feel exceptionally depressed.
You sure she hasn't been working overtime these days? She's definitely been working overtime these days.
She is clearly responsible for where we're at as a society. Okay, so this arc had a lot of potential. There was a lot of stuff they could have done with this, and I felt like they sort of squandered it quite a bit. So she gets into a huge dispute with the audit girls, who attempt to arrest her, and upon attempting to arrest her, get the shit kicked out of them, which Sento stumbles across because naturally a massive power outage like this is pretty visible. When he stumbles across her, she's excited to see a human who can see her, and she wants to play with him. When he's like scolds her, she snaps her fingers, I believe, at him, which causes him to fall into a depressive state and thus can no longer see her or the other Charger girls.
No, that's the thing, right? It does. That's the thing. When the reason why she's so happy is because when she snaps her finger at him, he doesn't get affected, and he's like, "What the kind of crap is that?" And you're just ruining everything. What's going on? And then when he grabs her, then she loses her shit and like releases a massive discharge, and that's what. So that's got to be the reason why he can see the Charger girls, or at least that's why it's implied, because no one else can see them.
Yeah,
like
he's got some sort of special power. Like
no, his special power is. I think his special power is rather irritatingly his overwhelming positivity. This man is always in a good mood. Like, nothing can fucking shit on this guy's hustle. This guy has the hustle, and like nothing can get him out. And like, oh, but yeah, now he gets depressed and he can't see the Charger girls anymore. And this freaking toddler has left a 40-foot crater in a car park
in the ground. Yep, in the ground, and this is not addressed. However, she also gets Kenta-kun or whatever his fucking. I think it's Kenta. Kenta. Kenta.
Depressed again. The kid who reverberates.
Kid is depressed again. And so throughout the Christmas arc,
oh, did we mention it's the Christmas episodes?
It's Christmas episodes, plural. Oh my god, it's an entire arc set over Christmas. There's also exceptionally long Millie, the Magic Girl sequences throughout this particular
which
arc.
Were great. Thank you.
I'll
die on that hill.
Yep, you can die on that hill because I'm not coming up there with you. There's a lot of animation cheap outs here. Basically, any of the big clashes are like cutaways to avoid having to animate them.
Yep.
And so basically Plug and the other Charger girls are working massive overtime because suddenly there's a wave of massively depressed humans everywhere and they've got to deal with it. So it's a Christmas Eve, to be honest.
Yep.
It doesn't even need to be a You don't even need a fucking like discharge girl here. It's just Christmas Eve, bro.
It's just Christmas Eve, yeah.
So finally, after 11 episodes, we have the confirmation that Plug's method works best. So all the girls start to sexually harass random pedestrians and get everyone fixed.
Yep.
And charge them all back up. Then there's a back and forwards between fucking the little girl who... Did she even get a name?
She's Discharger Girl. I can't remember. Hang on. Give me a second. I'm trying to... Rona.
Ah, okay. Rona Elmo. What?
Oh my god, her name's Rona. It was fate. It was fate.
Okay.
Snap your fingers and people are depressed and want to stay inside.
Fucking hell.
God.
Right,
yeah.
Everyone's ratings change. It's now the most prescient anime of our time. No, fuck that. Anyway, so they do a back and forwards. Rona fucks off, leaving Plug to pick up the shit. The writers, once again, and we're going to discuss this in a minute, but Sento X Plug, more like Sento X Arresta. Fuck Sento X Plug. So then we finish off with she tries to charge Kenta, and Kenta is like fully suicidal and plans to drown himself. Plug is desperately trying to stop him and can't, and Sento has been reinvigorated by his sister and the girl who has a crush on him, who run down. So he runs down, stops the kid from committing suicide, and tells him, hey, don't do that. Don't commit suicide. There's people here helping you. This scene didn't land for me. I'm going to be real with you. It's a very shonen big thing. They combine all their powers together to zap him back to life with the combined efforts of Arresta and Plug, as well as the other rest of the Magic Girl squad of Division 2. I noted that where they probably should have taken him out of the water first.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. They're fucking filling this guy with electricity, and yet like homie's standing knee deep in water, and you're fucking just jacking him with electricity. I'm like, guys, could we maybe like chill for a second? Chill for a fucking second. Like, but actually, I will say, as much as I hate to admit it, that if we all worked together through the power of friendship moment where the entire squad got together to save this one kid, it did land for me. I felt wholesome because, again, I really do like the Division 2 squad. And as I said to you behind the scenes, quite frankly, if the anime had pivoted and Sento and his family were like a background group who came in as part of the plot, while Sento was in the foreground, because Hakone and Iona, the two girls in Sento's life, they show up an awful lot and they have a lot of time dedicated to them, but they don't do anything.
No.
They're just sort of there, right? If you had invested that time, if you had traded those bits out with Division 2 of Plug's crew, like her mates, and then that moment in the end of the series where they all come together as a team, that would have hit so much harder, and this show would have been a lot better. But no, this scene is great. This scene is excellent. I like it. They're all charging together. The boss has overridden sacred codes to allow them to work together to defeat the big bad and save the kid while also saving Sento. It's a big moment. The whole squad's together. It's good. I actually felt good watching this scene. And then they fucking ruin it.
Yep. They come in full pelt and fucking ruin it because Sento hits the little girl in the head, which is
fucking child abuse. Child abuse. Fine, cool.
Mark that down. Fucking belting a child in the head. Probably not the ideal move to do. And this is where we've been tiptoeing around it. We've referenced it. We need to talk about it. This show is a fetish show. Throughout, it has a fetish. So me and Pete had a lot of discussions about this week. Very uncomfortable discussions.
Very uncomfortable discussions, yeah.
I did some research into it, and yes, this anime comes under a genre known as omarashi in Japan, which is also pants wetting.
It's a golden shower anime, yep. And
pretty much every single female character in the show does this. I'm pretty sure.
If they get
the two humans, I think. I don't think the humans did it. Every magic girl did though.
Yep.
Regardless, it's bad. I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable. And ugh.
The fact that they got the fucking 5-year-old.
A 5-year-old to do it.
No. Okay?
No. Not okay.
Not okay.
We've discussed multiple things that fall into the category of not okay. This is just outright.
Yeah, no.
You are doing this in a fetishy way. It is fucking gross. You should feel bad.
And the fact that the 5-year-old kid now has the same reaction that the adult female characters do. Because after they get belted by Sento, they feel attracted to him, right?
Yep.
They disguise it as her wanting to play and hang out with him. Because
it's very clear what it's being.
Oh god.
It's fucking gross.
It's gross.
Gross.
Dude, and this is the thing. Should we just move? Because we've been going for we've given this show 47 minutes of our time. We've given this show
too much.
So let's move into the final discussion. And I'm going to be blunt about this, right? If you didn't have... I'm going to come straight out with my opinion. Even with the pants wetting stuff, even with all the weird hentai, it's not hentai moments, even with all of that, right? And for obvious reasons, I apologize that there hasn't been much video of this anime playing in the center console of this video for obvious fucking reasons. If it hadn't been for that one, because as a character, as a villain, the creepy little kid ruining Christmas is great. She was a good villain. I liked her. The fact that she was powerful to whack the audit squad, the OG, let's be blunt, the MILF squad. She could freaking flick her fingers and nearly kill them. I thought this was a great villain. And she's toying with the humans and she treats them like animals. It's great. She's a good villain for a cheesy magical girl show. And I like it. If they hadn't looted her, if they hadn't gone too far, if he's going to hate me for saying this, but if they hadn't gone too far, I would have ranked this show a 7. Because despite everything, I had fun. After the show kicked in at around episode 5, I was enjoying this show. I was enjoying watching it. This is how you fuck up the landing in the worst possible way. And so I'm going to put my foot down, honestly, I'm going to give this show a 5. Right? Watch the censored version. Watch the censored version. So you don't, and I hope, I'm going to double check to make sure. Please watch the censored version, because I hope they edited her out. That moment out. If you watch the censored version, and they edited that out, which I'm going to check for you.
We'll definitely cut this a bit short.
Yeah, I'm going to cut the audio for this, but like, you know. Give me a sec. I'm gonna check. Because man, this is fucked. Nope, they didn't censor it. Fuck! Are you kidding me?
Even the censored version, fucked.
Fucked.
Okay.
Okay, so even the censored version is fucked. So,
all right, my turn. This show fails across the board. Characterization. A lot of characters have little to no character development and a little more than 2D cutouts that facilitate pretty much nothing happening in this story. That's fine for slice of life. I get it. But it means that this does feel very static. It feels like there's very little sort of going on. There's very little story to talk about, as we've mentioned. There's basically 2 little arcs. And the first one, all right, has its problems. The second one, less all right, has more problems. I found the animation was passable. That's about it.
For 2009, let's be real.
It's passable for 2009. It's on the lower side of things. Definite lots of like, it's a very constricted budget we're talking about here. This is the studio that made Major. I would say go watch Major instead. You'd have a better time of it.
Yeah, it's a good baseball anime. So I'll watch that.
My final rating for this show is a 32 out of 100.
Oh, a 3. A 3.
Barely. I cannot in good conscience recommend that anyone else watch this show. This is definitely something I would say stay the fuck away from.
Like, okay.
Like,
this is what I'm going to say. I gave it a 5 purely because I would have given it, because I'm working out of 10 rating from Mal's system, so if he's using a different system. But I would have said, if it wasn't for the shit that they pulled in the last few episodes, I would have said quite happily that it's a perfectly serviceable, fun slice of life with ecchi, okay? But no, like, they literally, if you want to watch slice of life with ecchi, actually, you know what? I said it before. I'm going to say it here. Watch Food Wars. Food Wars is a million times better, both on the ecchi front, animation front, and story. Go watch that. Don't watch. If this was 2009 still, this would be a perfectly fine ecchi anime to watch because you've got this and DxD maybe. It's fucked at the end, sure, but it's an ecchi show in 2009. You can probably get away with it. But now there are literally, moral issues aside, there are literally a million other shows that you could be watching.
I won't put this show on my list. This one is not going on my anime list. I'm sorry. It's
Coward.
too gross.
Coward.
I will not put it on my list.
I'm putting it up because I'm putting it up as a monument. As a monument to be
Too bad.
This is a monument. Actually, no. In fairness, I'm gonna have to put a modifier on it about the discussion we've had because I'm still gonna give it a 5, but that puts it up. That puts it above. That puts it above Domestic Girlfriend and School Days and Do You Love Your Mum and a Multi-Hit Target Attacks, which I don't think any of actually. Multi-target attacks, MILF Sakai, I think, maybe the only thing on my list that is comparably gross for different reasons. Oh, Aramanga Sensei. I ranked it higher than... Actually, you know what? Fuck it, my review means shit. It gets a 3. It's Aramanga Sensei tier. It's It's staying there. I'm angry, damn it. You had something good and you fucked it. Anyway,
I wouldn't even say that. I think that's too kind. I think they started off from a faulty fucking premise and it went bad from there. That is my final conclusion on the matter.
Oh god, yeah, I will admit openly that I'm a Strike Witches fan, so, you know, magical girls doing cool shit and saving the day is my thing, so maybe I'm a bit more predisposed to the slice of life, like, because I actually really like the concept of the world building, and even the, as I was saying with the audit squad, when the ecchi was done right, mwah, beautiful, but no, show, no. You fucked it. You went too far, and so you're down the bottom. You're in the trash. But it's time to find out what hot trash we're watching next week. So, Ivi, you gonna do the honors? Your turn.
Alrighty, this time it is my turn to roll. I have got the generator up. Let's fucking go. 1, 2, 3, generate. No! Fuck! God! Damn it! Okay, we can't do this one because we've both watched it before. As much as I am excited that I wish we could. Hayate Genso no Grimgar. So we stand at a crossroads here. Do we rewatch Grimgar or do I roll again?
I vote we roll again, because because that should be a special episode we do, because quite frankly, we could. Both Ivy and I are of fundamental agreement. Season 2 now for Grimgar. You fucking bailed on us. It was getting good.
Especially given how good it gets in the novels. I read the novels. Fucking love it. Alright, that is a discussion for another fucking day. Let's go. Next on the roll is... Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
What are we doing?
Samurai fucking Champloo.
Yo! We rolled the jackpot. I haven't seen it yet.
Yes!
Have you seen it? I don't.
Yes.
Have you seen it? I haven't seen it for years.
I've seen it a long time ago.
So,
I've seen it a very long
Samurai
time ago.
Champloo rewatch. Let's go! Alright. Hi!
We will... yeah, unlike Grimgar, it's been, which was recently for us, we will do Champloo because both of us has been quite a while.
Yeah, that one, I saw like the first 4 or 5 episodes maybe 6 years ago. Like, streaming anime was new back then, so like, yeah, absolutely. 100% Samurai Champloo. Sign me up. Let's go!
Yes.
We don't have to watch garbage if we're safe.
Woo!
Woo!
Bad anime this time. This is the good shit. Fuck yeah. I've already got it all downloaded. I don't have to do any more piracy.
Just go onto my freaking... I'll just go onto my... Like, I think it's even on Netflix, actually, come to think about it.
I think so.
Tell you what,
but this is a discussion for off of recording.
Yeah. Anyway, I will say it now. I think we're gonna do a thing when we know that the quality is good, because I know that the same team that did Cowboy Bebop did this one. I'm gonna watch dub. You're gonna watch sub. We will talk about differences.
We'll compare notes on the two.
Yep. I guess that's about it. So we're happy. We're ending on a high note after talking about that garbage fire. Did you have anything else?
I have literally nothing other to say. I have literally nothing to say other than please don't watch this anime. Please don't watch Juden Chan. Go outside.
Go outside.
Touch grass.
Touch grass.
Make a friend. Walk a dog. Talk to... I don't know. Talk to a tree.
No,
These are all more productive tasks than watching this terrible fucking show.
We do this shit so you don't have to. Anyway.
We're doing this so you don't have to.
Alright.
I am V.
I'm Pac-Man. See you guys later.
Fuck this.
Fuck this. I'm out.
Know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough. I'm enough.